And welcome to Tackle the Board. My name is Chris Exusion. You can find me at Chris Ebom on Twitter and also at Ebom Sports Bets on TikTok. My co-host Russ Reese, you can find him at Vegas Line Reader. Russ, how is your week going?
I'm doing good, man. I've been on fire. I've been 13-2 in my last NFL and college football, the big plays that I've been putting out. Last weekend, I ended up hitting Florida State on Saturday. I only had a couple plays. I didn't like the weekend. So I hit Florida State, one outright. And then Sunday, I took the Cowboys. Just didn't look good. Cooper was out. It didn't really bother me in that game that he was out. But once CeeDee Lamb was out at halftime, it was just one of those games the Cowboys weren't going to put up points on the road. So not kicking myself. I thought it was still a good pick. Going to get right back at it this week. And I got a lot of big plays coming this week. So definitely excited for this week coming up.
Yeah, last week I wasn't a crazy week for me. Had a couple bad breaks a little bit. East Carolina did end up winning that revenge game, but just missed it by a point to cover. And it was just a tough week last week. I'm not going to lie to you. The board wasn't that great, but we still tackled it. So I was happy to at least give out the good info out there like yourself. And then, here at Tackle the Board, we're always trying to do new things that we think will benefit the viewership. We're always changing things up constantly because we want to give out the best info possible. So today what we're going to do is we're going to give our best plays, our best leans for games. You can follow our socials at the end of the week and see if there's anything that we post that we officially like. But we're just going to go over just the games that we're very interested in, that we see good, sharp action on, that we can bet and take advantage of. Yeah. And, we gave out all the games, but I think the people want to know what we really like. And I think that's the kind of news we pretty much have to give them.
Yeah, we want to give you guys the games that we can get a lot of info on, that we feel very strong on, because we were given out info on every single game and we just throw out a little information on some of these games that we wouldn't touch. So we're just going to get rid of those games, guys. We want to keep you focused on the right way to win, betting sharp. So we're going to be giving you these bets. Some of these bets I'm going to be giving out are going to be big plays that I love, and some of them are going to be plays that are all plays that I would still bet, but I would still just bet smaller. So definitely feel confident about all these games we're going to be putting out. So let's get started, man. I see that you actually have some games that you like for Thanksgiving, so people are probably excited you like these games. So it looks like the first game, Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears, is -3 and the over-under's at 41.5. Some have it at 42. Who do you like here?
Well, actually, here the Lions are home this game because that's usually what they do on Thanksgiving. You said the Bears, but that's all good.
No worries. Sorry about that. See, you're better at the hosting, man, throwing it over. So I got to work on it.
I know. That's all right. We'll get there eventually. You just have to watch the maestro at work over here. But anyway, so the first game, of the NFL Thursday Thanksgiving slate, it's kind of the snoozer game. You're going to be already tired with your turkey anyway. This might get you a little bit of a siesta early, but I feel like there is a really good play here. And people are going both ways with this, but I really still believe the under is still the play here. It's at 41.5. These are some stats that I found that could definitely help this year. The Lions are 31st in the entire NFL in third and fourth down passing, and the Bears are 30th. If you're not converting these first downs or making production off these third and fourth downs, there's going to be a lot of punts here. And I think that's very important, especially for unders here. The Lions, they're 13th in passing yards against, while the Bears are 32nd in passing yards. So while the Lions' best thing is pass defense, the Bears' pass offense is just absolutely atrocious. And now you're going to have Andy Dalton in. It's just going to be captain check down. Nothing that great, really. Matt Nagy, just in general, I like finding trends with him because he's been with the team so long. Matt Nagy is 10-1 on the under versus a foe with revenge. And Detroit lost him week 3, 24-14. So typically in these kind of games for the Bears, the under does hit. And the under is also 7-1 for the Lions in their last 8 as an underdog. So we don't want to overthink this. These two teams, Goff might be coming back. We'll see what happens. But I really like the under here. I just don't think these teams can move the chains, and that's going to lead to an under.
Yeah, I think that's a smart play. You got two terrible quarterbacks in this game. I don't know what the story is with Goff if he's playing. I know he's in a lot of pain, so I doubt he's going to play. But if he does, he's going to be playing in pain. So it'd probably be the same quarterback play in that game, probably bad quarterback play. And I think this might be Nagy's last game. I think he's actually going to get fired after this game, win or lose. So they're probably just wait till the holidays are over and going to get rid of him.
Yeah, well overdue, that's for sure.
Exactly. So you actually have a second game that you like on Thanksgiving. I saw the Bills were -4.5 at the Saints. I'm not sure if the line's gone up or not. I'm looking at FanDuel. It's up to 6, but I don't know if you have
Mhm.
DraftKings, maybe if you got a better line for this game.
Well, actually, right now it's currently at 6.5 for the Buffalo Bills, and the
Wow.
over/under is 45.5. I'm still not crazy about that line movement. Typically, if we're looking at what the betting public is doing right now, let me check that real quick.
Yeah, I wonder if somebody's getting hurt here or something. Because I mean, you like this game. You talked about this earlier about 4.5, so it's jumped up a couple points. I wonder if Kamara is going to still be out or if there's some big injuries at all.
Yeah, so right now, 61% of the public is taking the Buffalo Bills right now, so there might be some big action coming in on Buffalo over here. We played Buffalo a few times this year, especially coming off a loss, an embarrassing loss. What the Bills did last week was they lost to Indy. They got crushed 41-15. Taylor rushed for like tons of touchdowns and just they got manhandled on the line there. And that was an embarrassing loss. Even though the Colts have been somewhat respectable this year, I still consider that an embarrassing loss. Last time they had a couple of embarrassing losses was Jacksonville. They lost 6-9. They came out firing against the Jets. We had that game. Bills against the Jets. That was a 45-17 game. And we also had when they lost to Tennessee and then Miami, they ended up beating them as well. So they do bounce back very well. And remember the Pittsburgh game at the beginning of the year where they lost a game where nobody had Pittsburgh in that game at all. They bounced back strong against Miami and next week and beat them 35-0. So I really like the Bills here. They are just a better team offensively and defensively. I feel like the Saints defense might be kind of fool's gold here. I mean, last week was a great opportunity for them and to keep the Eagles in check with the run game, but they got absolutely manhandled on the line there.
Yeah, I want to throw in. So I'm looking. It looks like Kamara, he is listed as out, and then the right tackle is actually not playing either. Marcus Davenport, he's out defensive end. So some key guys, and it looks like Armstead's still the left tackle. He's still questionable. So to go against that Bills defense, I would probably stick with that Bills pick if you were still taking that.
Yeah, I'm still taking it as long as it's under a touchdown. I already liked them anyway. I think this could still be a double-digit victory. Saints haven't been good on Thursdays. They're 0-4 versus non-division opponents. The Bills, I just talked about their bounce backs. Bills are 4-0-1 their last 5 following against the spread loss and 3-0-1 following a straight-up loss. And the Bills, they're second in passing yards, and the Saints are 26 in defending the passing yards. So we talked about how the Saints' run defense is supposed to be really good, but their pass defense isn't. This plays right into Allen's hands. And then Bills are first in defending all downs passing. So if they're down a good amount, then they're going to have some issues trying to come back because the Bills are very good at defending all those passing downs. So give me the Bills. I have them at 4.5. I'll still take the 6.5. No problem. Give me the Buffalo Bills.
Nice. Yeah, I like that.
So you're going to get to a game now that I kind of had circled myself because I felt like this was an interesting spot. We got the Jets at the Texans laying 2.5. The Texans are, and the over-under is 44, Russ. Where are you going here?
Yeah, it's good to throw it in there because we will still tell each other which games we disagree with each other. I don't mind that at all. So let people know what we do agree on so we both feel good on certain games too. So that's good. But I got the Jets here, plus 2.5. Texans coming off a big win last week as the plus 9.5 underdogs called that last week against the Titans, who just always suck as favorites. So now we got a spot where the Texans, they're last in the NFL in offensive yards a game. They're also 30th in the NFL in defensive yards allowed a game. So I will fade a bad team here coming off a big win, and they're now favorites in this game. This is a Jets line. I love this game here. Both of these teams, they're both bad teams, so they're both on the same level, but this is a better spot situation here for the Jets, so I'll take them with the points.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's a good spot. I think Zach Wilson, this is kind of a prove-it game to him, coming back from injury, seeing the things about Mike White and all this stuff, and pretty much everyone discounting him for the most part. I think this is a game he really needs to step up and prove that he belongs here. And, he's got the arm for it, and he's got the pedigree for it, being, a really good draft pick. And I really like them here. And we talked about bad teams covering. They typically don't cover again for the most part, and they won outright. So I think just a surprise like that. I think a lot of people are going to start jumping on the Texans because of that. And then what the Jets have been doing, they lost their last 3, and they lost their last 3, against the spread. So maybe this is a good spot where you're going to be able to get them where they can finally cover the spread. Maybe they not win, but at least cover. But I think they win this game outright, honestly. So I'm on board with you there. I actually kind of think there's going to be more points in this game than people think. I think the over is kind of a good play with this as well. So, I'm on board with you with the Jets here. It's kind of going to be a kind of a sloppy game. I think points will be scored, but I'm right there with you with the Jets.
Nice. So I have the next game. I'm going to go 2 in a row here. I got the Falcons at the Jaguars. The spread's +1, but the over-under's at 46.5, guys. I like the over here, and this is actually a pick that Chris said he also likes for this game, but I'm probably going to steal a lot of his thunder here, so I got some info here, guys. The Jaguars offense, the last 4 games, they're averaging 10.75 points per game, okay? And the Falcons defense, they're 25th in the NFL in defensive rushing yards allowed. So I just see the Jaguars being able to put up points in this game, having the run game going. And I think I also saw Lawrence has been terrible these last 3 or 4 weeks. He's going to come back with one of these great games you're going to see because they're going to have the running game going. So let's talk about the Falcons here too. They're also coming off the last 4 games. They're averaging 10.75 points per game. So this is a favorable matchup for the Falcons facing a Jaguars defense who have allowed 26 points per game on the season. We got some more stats here. The Jaguars, they're 27th in sacks a game, and the Falcons, the defense is 32nd in sacks a game. So we got 2 teams that don't get pressure on the quarterbacks. I just feel like both of these quarterbacks are going to have a nice little game, and the public's actually being fooled. They're all on the under in this game. So I'll buy low on both of these teams who are both scoring basically 11 points per game in the last 4 games. This is just a perfect spot for our over here. I see a 28-24 type of game here. The Jaguars, I think the highest points they've scored all season is 23, I think, and the over-under for their team total points is at 23, so that's showing you that these guys should be able to score points here. So I like the over here, Chris, and I know you like it too, right?
Yeah, when we talked about what games we're doing, we both agreed we liked this game, and I was curious where your head was at, and you also like the over, and I was right there with you. I think this is a big smash play right here. You talked about it with the sacks. I'm actually looking at it right now in Football Outsiders. The stats I have for the sack rate is they're the 2 worst teams in the entire NFL with sacks. They have the least amount of sacks in the entire NFL. The Jags have a 29th ranked defensive DVOA, and the Falcons have a 30th ranked defensive DVOA. No one can stop anybody. The Falcons are coming off a goose egg on top of that. I love when a team goes off a goose egg like that, and people want to take an under, especially with a team that has done that.
Yeah, even the game before, they scored 3 points too.
Exactly. So this is a great spot to buy low on an over, which is kind of rare in the NFL. But these unders have been hitting a lot. There was some games I was looking at that I did like the under this week. They didn't come into my plays this week for most part. Some did, some didn't. But I'm right there with you. I absolutely love this play. I think it's going to be a score fest back and forth. No one's going to be able to stop anybody. No one's going to be able to sack anybody. It's going to be like a flag football game out there. And I will be more than happy to relax on my Sunday after the Thanksgiving turkey, maybe a beer or 2, and then just watch that over hit. It's going to be a beautiful thing. I absolutely love this over.
Yeah, that's the thing with overs. Yeah, especially with those 2 quarterbacks, you just want to look at your phone and just see the score and be like, okay, they're scoring touchdowns. You start watching those guys, you're like, what the hell are they doing? So definitely a snoozer to just not watch the game, watch the other games, because this definitely isn't a fun, exciting game to watch anyway. There's no playoff implications or anything. So just put that bet in, make some money. Me and Chris, this is actually an agreement game here, so make sure you guys get this in. All right, so we're going to jump into the next game. Chris has his next pick. We got the Vikings at the 49ers -3, and you like the 49ers here, right?
Yeah, this was a game I've been looking at for some time. Originally, Vikings have been doing pretty well. They've been covering games, winning outright. They've been really hot right now. The public's starting to really like this team. And the 49ers have been kind of flying under the radar a little bit. They had that game against the Rams where they dominated at home. This is a spot where I really like the 49ers. And I also like the under, the 48.5 as well. But I like the 49ers better here, -3. Vikings are let me see. So the 49ers, they're third in offensive red zone DVOA. And the Minnesota is 27th in defending that. So when the 49ers are in the red zone, they're going to score. That's going to be important here. Their red zone defense has not been good. 49ers are second in all first down plays offensively. The Vikings are 28th defending that. So they have been excellent on first downs to put themselves in great positions. The Vikings have been terrible on first downs. This will only help us to cover this spread. I think it's a real good spot. I hope I don't get screwed by bad coaching with Shanahan again, but I will trust the process here, and I will take the 49ers laying the 3 points. I think this is a good spot for them. I think Vikings lose a little bit of steam here, and the 49ers need to start. They're desperate. They need to start winning games here. You got the Rams up there. They're still trying to make the playoffs.
This is kind of like the Patriots versus Browns when we said whoever wins this game is going to be the playoff team. This is the wild card. 49ers, Vikings, who wins this game will probably be the wild card team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw something else out there for this game. So if you do put this game in, you or got everyone listening, I would get them in now at -3 because I'm looking at FanDuel. I usually always look at FanDuel. They're at -3 at -120 now. So usually when you see a sign like that, they'll probably move to 3.5 possibly. So and I'm looking at the team totals, and it has 26.5 and 23 for the Vikings, which is a 3.5 difference. So might go up to 3.5. So just to let everyone know, get it in at that -3 now before it goes up to possibly 3.5 on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, right now the 49ers are -3, but you're laying more juice. The -120, it looks like they might move up to that 3.5. But yeah, and if you guys remember, if you have any questions about any games you like or any of the games we're talking about, be sure to comment because we will answer questions for other games if you have them. So I have no problem doing that. I know Russ doesn't either. We love to give the feedback on games that you have questions on.
For sure. Definitely.
Yep. So Russ is going to get into his next game. It's the Eagles at the Giants. The line is currently, let's see, we got here.
Should be 3.5.
Okay, we're at 3.5 now. Went up to 3.5. The over-under is dropped down to 45.5 for us. Where are we going with this?
I actually like the Giants here. So this is a classic letdown spot right here. Giants coming off a Monday Night Football game where they looked bad. Daniel Jones has been getting bashed all week on the radio. I've been listening. People talking about how he's not the future quarterback. They've talked about this before, but when it's on prime time, it gets even worse. Then they just fired their Jason Garrett, the offensive coordinator. So I think the offense will show up here because Saquon Barkley's back. And I love when an offensive coordinator gets fired. Usually the team gets fired up a little bit, throw some wrinkles in the offense. And the thing about Saquon Barkley is he did nothing last week, which I expected against the Bucs, who are basically the best on run defense in the NFL. So I think the Eagles are going to be surprised here. The Eagles, they're 30th in the NFL in sacks per game. So they're not going to get pressure. And I can see Saquon Barkley getting a running game going here in this game. And the public's all over the Eagles, about 70% of the bets. I think this is just a terrible spot for the Eagles, being the favorite type of role in this game. I feel like they're just getting way too much love. They're just on fire, getting that love. This happened to the Bengals before when they were getting red hot, and then they just took that bad loss to the Jets. I just feel like this is a bad spot for the Eagles. And Hurts, he's actually 0-3 in all of his division games, the 2 last year and 1 this year against the Cowboys. So who knows if these guys know how to figure him out. You know, some of these division teams know how to figure out their quarterbacks that they face in their own division. And I'm looking at the Eagles' next 3 games. These are all games they're going to be favored in. They got some easy games. This just seems like the flat spot on the road after they've been hot. Give me the Giants here plus 3.5.
So I got a couple of trends that I like for the Giants here. The Giants division games, they're 14-1 off a straight up against the spread loss versus an opponent off a double-digit straight up non-division win, which what the Eagles did against the Saints. And then they're not. And then the Giants are also 9-1 after scoring less than 14 points. So they have put up a better performance as far as scoring after pretty much putting up a dud for the most part. So that's good on that Giants side. And the main thing is here. that the offensive coordinator Garrett's not there anymore, and someone's going to step up to the plate, whether it's Judge or somebody else that's going to take the calling reins. They're going to throw everything out there, the kitchen sink, you can call it. This is going to be a spot where you're going to see some crazy plays.
I think it's Freddie Kitchens taking over, and you said throw the kitchen sink. So,
oh man, look at this guy. I'm really on top of my game today. I just been flowing left, right. Freddie Kitchens taking the helm in the kitchen. I'm telling you, he's going to do everything he possibly can to get this offense rolling, and they're going to pull all the stops. And the Eagles are in a flat spot, like you said. So if I had to take the game, I would take the Giants plus the 3.5. So that's where I'm going as well. But we also got a question from Jason over here. Nice. Said, what's your thoughts on the Raiders versus Cowboys?
Raiders versus Cowboys. Oh, I think we both actually were siding with the Raiders because I just feel like the Cowboys with the wide receivers banged up, and this is a Thursday game. I just feel like they're going to try to give it to Zeke because Zeke did nothing last week. I think they're going to try to get the running game going. And we talked about a couple of weeks ago with Cowboys and Packers, how they just had a great against the spread record. They were like 9-1 against the spread. This doesn't hold up, guys. Like these guys get overvalued now. So 7.5. The Cowboys are just getting overvalued because everybody on Thanksgiving is going to be playing that teasing down the Cowboys just to win the game. So this is definitely a good spot here. I'm not even a fan of the Raiders this year, but in a dome type of game, I think Carr can do enough just to keep this game close. So what do you think, Chris? You like the Raiders too?
Yeah, I had this on the board. I was going to talk about this game originally, but there were some other games I liked more. I'm also on the Raiders plus 7. Let me just make sure that's the current line right now. Is that what we're looking at? 7.5. 7.5 they are now. So even better. Some things that I found out about this game: the Raiders are 3rd in passing yards per game, while the Cowboys are 21st in passing yards against. McCarthy is 1-9 at home off a double-digit against the spread loss versus a non-division foe. So he hasn't been good in this typical spot. Zeke's banged up. Lamb has the ankle and the concussion protocol. We know Cooper's out. Carr should honestly have a real solid day with Waller, Renfro, Edwards, Jacobs, the whole gang.
That Raiders defense can get a pass rush, and they're very aggressive. I just feel like they're a team that also plays better as an underdog because once they got in that favorite type of role when they got hot, everybody was thinking that they were hot, but they really weren't that great. But as an underdog, like they were in the beginning of the season, that's when they'll pounce on you and surprise you with that pass rush. So I feel like they do lose, but I just feel like they can cover this game for sure.
Yeah, and the Raiders are coming off 3 straight up losses and against the spread losses, so this is a good time for them to get their cover or possibly win outright here. I mean, they're probably not going to win outright, but Dallas has a really hard time covering the tight end. They rank 20 and they rank 22nd in open field rank, which means that a team's running backs running for more than 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. A good amount for the most part. So Jacob should have a good game. Waller should have a good game. I mean, those are guys that you might want to take overs on top of that. I personally would also like to take the Raiders over on their points personally, because I think you're going to get the best bang for your buck there.
That's why I think the over would be a smart play too here, because I mean, I think the Cowboys, it's just one of those weird things where what is the over under actually?
The over-under is at 51 right now, I believe.
51, yeah. I'm thinking like it's funny because I'm thinking like 27-24 in my head. So yeah, I might not mess with the over then.
Yeah, well, the Raiders over on the points is 21.5.
Okay,
I think that's more than doable there.
Yeah, that's the smarter play then. Yeah.
Because I think they're going to have no problem scoring on this defense. Especially, I think Carr is going to have a great game. You could even look at something that there's even a play right here that I see some great value on. Raiders team total touchdowns over 2.5 is plus 125. I love that play.
Yeah, honest.
I think you can definitely get 3 touchdowns with the Raiders here and cash in.
Yeah, you get more touchdowns in that dome for sure.
I think they could score Jacobs. I think Waller can score. I think Carr's gonna have a field day out there, whoever he's throwing to. And Renfro should be able to move the chains for him. So Jason, pretty much simple. We both like the Raiders. Thanks for chiming in, man. We appreciate it.
Definitely.
So where are we at right now? Let me see. 1 second.
Seahawks, baby.
Oh, Seahawks. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I had some other notes. I had to work my other notes. All right, beautiful. So we got
ready.
Oh man,
get that game ready. All right, we got a game here, Chris. All right.
Okay. We got Seattle.
I love this play, Chris. All right, plays like this They just don't come along too often here. All right, Chris. All right.
Okay, I'm waiting.
All right. Love the Seahawks here. All right. We have the Washington football team, huge overachievers these past 2 weeks, winning as a +3 underdog to the Panthers last week. Then they won as +9 underdogs to the Bucks 2 weeks ago. All right. They've overachieved 28 total against the spread points in these last 2 weeks. That's why people even have this as them as favorites is just crazy. So that's why they're even -1 in this game. All right. Let's be realistic. Washington is not a good football team. As for the Seahawks, they're coming off 2 straight losses, but they're versus playoff caliber teams, the Packers and the Cardinals. All right. I talked about this last year. We found this perfect spot. All right. We got Russell Wilson. He's 10-2 in his career on Monday Night Football games. And then I also have a stat here for you, Chris. All right. Russell Wilson has never lost 3 games in a row in his career. Okay. Do not see that happening against the Washington football team. I had a stat last year. I think it was, oh my God, why can't I think of the coach's name? Pete Carroll. He was undefeated in games when he lost like 3 in a row. It was like something crazy. So, guys, Russell Wilson has never lost 3 in a row. He is not losing to the Washington football team. This is a big bet here. I'm going to be sending this out to my members. All right. This is a game that I love. I'm throwing it out there for you guys. All right. Get it in. Seahawks +1. No clue how they're getting points here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a spot where I know why they're getting points. I'm going to tell you why they're getting points. They lost the last 2 against the spread in a row. And we jumped on this before when Russell Wilson, like you said, this is a situation that doesn't usually happen. Russ Wilson losing 2 straight against the spread. We'll be more than happy to take this gift. And on top of that, Seattle has the biggest advantage when it comes to offense against defense. This defense has not been good for Washington. If you ever watch this show, you know how much I bash this Washington football team. They are not good, like Russ said. And now you're getting value with Russ Wilson. There was a point where they scored 0 points against Green Bay, and it was just they haven't done anything. They're going to wake up. It's Monday night, looking the party, and this is going to be the Seahawks' time to whoop some ass. And I'm right there with you. I love Seattle here. This is a great spot for them. And you're actually getting value with Russ Wilson, which rarely happens.
Get to the bank account, guys. Don't waste all your money on Thanksgiving. Save it up for this Monday Night Football game, all right? This is the type of game that saves people. All right, you have a losing weekend, this is when you throw it all down on that Monday Night Football game that people try to save. I don't recommend it, but that's what people do.
No, the Seahawks are not home. They're in Washington, so that's why we're getting that value right there on top of that.
Don't fall for the Washington trap. They're still bad. They just lost Chase Young. He got injured. Remember,
part of their defense.
Yeah, I said it last week with that Carolina game. I just had a weird feeling. It just looked too easy for Carolina. So it was one of those plays that Washington caught them sleeping. So Washington's now getting love out of nowhere, but they're just a bad team. People are I heard, I watch other shows and I'm hearing other people like, oh, Washington, their defense is back. They did this last year where they went on a run. I'm like, no, they just played god-awful teams last year and won games against the terrible division. Yeah. So the Seahawks are still a good team. The Seahawks don't have that magic of beating those special teams like the Cardinals. Like people think just because they lost to the Cardinals against the backup quarterback, that Cardinals defense is sick. All right. There's nothing Russell Wilson can do. Packers and Cardinals have solid defenses this year. So I talked about in other episodes about Wilson's finger not that well, but I'm not worried in this game. Coming off 2 losses against the team that I'm not worried about on the Washington defense at all. Take the Seahawks. Get your money in now.
Yeah, don't overthink it. That's for sure.
Actually, guys, don't bet too much on it because I don't want my line moving in the opposite direction. I don't know what's going to happen by Monday. So we will jump into college football now, guys. So we gave you all our favorite picks for NFL, and Chris is going to get us started for college football. We got North Carolina at NC State, and they're at -5.5. Who you got here?
All right, this is a rivalry game with no trophy of all things. I love a rivalry with a trophy. I'm all about it. Arkansas, LSU, the Golden Boot, great things like that. This one needs a trophy, but regardless, this is a very important game here, Russ. I like the Wolfpack here, laying the 5.5. Some books have it at 6 right now, but Get that 5.5 if you can. NC State has a shot of actually winning the Atlantic Division of the ACC with a win, and Wake Forest losing to Boston College, which can happen. I would not be shocked if that happens. UNC is dominant on the offensive side, but NC State's way more dominant on the defensive side. And I think that's going to be very important here. Sam Howell was banged up. He has injury issues. He has an upper body issue like a hockey player, and he's questionable. They're not even sure if he's going to play. So if he doesn't even play, this line is going to skyrocket like crazy. So get it in now. NC State is third in the country in defending the power success rate, while UNC is 84th in the country in offensive power success rate. So that's moving the ball offensively. NC State is able to stop the run on big plays for first downs and TDs, and they're ranked 10th in defense, which is big for covering a spread like this. This team is ran by the defense over here. Devin Leary at QB has been great. He's at 31 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, 3,100 passing yards. Some stats, some trends that I like as well. NC State is 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 home games, 5-1 against the spread as a home favorite. UNC, on the other hand, has been terrible on the road. They don't cover on the road. They're 0-4 in their last 4 road games and 0-4 following a straight up win. And they're 1-6 in their last 7 as an underdog. Not a good underdog to have, the Tar Heels. They've been kind of a darling at the beginning of the season, started to fizzle off, kind of a fun offense. The defense blows. Mac Brown, all about the offense here. This is the biggest spread that I could see in a long time for this Wolfpack here. And I think that speaks volumes for this game. 5.5, 6. I think the defense should come out here. The last 2 times they played were UNC won because of the revenge games. They were 14.5 and 11-point favorites, and they covered both of those spreads the last 2 times. Now NC State's a 5.5-point favorite, Russ. Now you sound the alarms. Sound that alarm, please.
Hold on. Oh, damn it. I just exited out again. Why you always do that to me, man?
Oh, man, you got to be ready. You're like the soundboard guy.
No, I'm all over the place, man.
Come on, man.
I didn't know you loved the game. You didn't tell me you loved the game that much before.
Oh, dude, it's my favorite game on the board. We're tackling this one.
Next week, you got to let me know.
All right. Well, bottom line is this is the game for the Wolfpack here. There we go.
That's a losing alarm. Hold on.
No, that's not a losing. What are you doing over there?
I definitely agree with you though on NC State though.
Okay.
I've had times where I've taken North Carolina. Luckily, I got 2-0, but there were times where they were facing like the worst competition, like Duke, teams like that. That's not because North Carolina was getting smashed by the good teams. So I was jumping on North Carolina after they got smashed to those good teams. But I actually watched the games when they did play the bad teams and they still covered for me. They did not look good at all. I'm telling you, that offensive line, they have some issues. So if they're playing, that's probably why they look so bad on the road, because when I did watch these guys on the road, they had some sloppy penalties and he was getting hounded a lot of 3rd and longs. That team, like I talk about having that magic, North Carolina had that last year. They don't have it this year. They already looks like they are 6-5. They're already bowl eligible. So not much to play for the rest of the season. Sam Howell's going to go to the NFL. So he's not going to kill himself for this team in this game. They already beat him 2 times, and it probably was Sam Howell or whatever. I'm not quite sure if he's a junior, but I'm sure he played 2 years ago or whatever. So he had to have played in that game. So he won both of those games. I don't see him really caring here against NC State. Get to the bowl game and go to the NFL.
So we got another question over here. Andrew's asking, any thoughts on Michigan and the Ohio State game? This is the big game on the board this week, Russ. What are we thinking over here?
I was looking into this game. This is a tough one because I feel like this spread should be like at 6 and it's all the way up to 8.5. I wonder if it's just being imploded just because of the past couple of weeks. Ohio State killing teams. So, I mean, if I were to go with something, I would take Michigan. I would grab the points at home. I feel like I never trust the road favorites and big games. So this is a rivalry week. You want to go with the underdogs in all these spots. So, I mean, what would you go with here, Chris?
Yeah, I disagree here. This is a spot where you have to take the Buckeyes again. I mean, you cannot go against this offense. They're number 1 in total yards. The pass game is great. I understand Michigan's pass defense is real solid, and I think that's why you would want to lean with the Wolverines here. I think this is more of a rivalry. We talked about this last week, I believe. because we're looking at look
Mhm.
ahead games and everything. And this is a spot where Michigan is really looking at this game as being like a big game. And I don't know if really Ohio State is really looking this as big as game, because they've been dominant so much in this game. And it's just another day at the office where they have to kick ass. The offense should be rolling. They're just there to impress, and a team that still needs to impress and be in the college football playoffs. I'll definitely take them there. Michigan right outside of the brink right there of getting in there. But the Ohio State's been so good on offense. It's so hard to go against them here. The pass game's been amazing. Everything's just been on point, and
Yeah.
it's just tough. I cannot go against Ohio State till at least the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. It's going down to 7.5 now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I got this line at like it should be at 5. So if it stays over 8 points, I would say it's definitely an Ohio State line. But if it drops to 7, 6.5,
No, if it drops down to 6.5, it might be a monster hammer for Ohio State. And if I lose with a 6.5 point spread for Ohio State this year, then you know what? So be it. I will go down with the sword with that all day. I will pretty much lay 6.5 with Ohio State against any team in the country at this point. Maybe not Georgia, but just this team is loaded.
I think in that game it could be an over type game because it seems pretty high to me. 60.
Oh, it definitely is an over game. No question about it.
Yeah.
I mean, if Ohio State's going to put on a show, then it's going to be an over regardless. I don't care how much Michigan's going to score. I think Michigan will score some. Their offense has gotten better, but their quarterback doesn't really – you can't really get a lot from that quarterback from Michigan, so I'm not real crazy about it. Stroud's been great for Ohio State, so I'm all for Ohio State. Thanks for checking in, Andrew. We appreciate it.
Yeah, good question.
So the next game I want to get into, well, actually, you're going to get into it. It's Boise State at San Diego State. San Diego State's getting plus 2.5. Russ, where are you going with this?
Yeah, this is a game that jumped out to me. I like San Diego State here plus 2.5. I'm all about the dogs, guys. So I'm going to be finding spots where we're going against the public action, and I'm finding these dogs that are in good spots that I like. So San Diego State's just a team with great defense. They're 11th in the country in defensive yards allowed a game. So these guys at home, I just feel like they're going to play a great game. This is a huge game for them at home against Boise State, who they always want to knock off. Give me San Diego State plus 2.5. The better defense at home. I'll take it all day, where the betting public's taking Boise State. So give me San Diego State here.
Yeah, this is a tough game. I mean, San Diego State's this is what San Diego State does. They're very slow, methodical. They don't score a lot of points, but the defense has been solid. Boise State, Bachmeier has been pretty decent. Shakir has actually been really good offensively, their wide receiver. So I think they have a good chance of kind of controlling that for the most part. Boise State's defense hasn't really lit the world on fire for the most part. So I kind of see where you're at. This is kind of just a big stay away for me because it's kind of a tough spot. It's tough to kind of back Boise State here, but it's also kind of tough to back San Diego State. This is a game that I personally don't feel like sweating, but I'll be on your corner for the Aztecs.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
By the way, San Diego State,
Boise State's worst records I've seen in a long time. You know, usually they're solid and they're 7-4. I don't know. I just feel like it's not a good season for them.
If it makes you feel any better, San Diego State has the best punter in the country. He's an absolute monster. He will be punting in the NFL. He's got a boot that just he punts a ball like 80 yards. I'm not even joking. The field changes completely every time he punts the ball.
I'll be honest on this game. Out of all the games that I've taken, this is probably my least favorite out of all of them. But I just love the kind of spot we're getting here with the better defense at home with the points. But I'm going to be honest, with all the other games have actually loved, this is probably the least favorite. So just my feeling on the games. So we will jump into your last game. You got a pretty big game here. You got the Oklahoma Sooners at Oklahoma State. The spread's at -3.5, 51.5 is the total. What do you got here?
I actually like two things in this game. First off, I actually like both. I like the over/under and the game. I think you could bang them for both, honestly, here. I like the Cowboys here. 3.5. This is a big line here. Oklahoma State hasn't beat Oklahoma since 2014. This is the first time since 2017 the Cowboys are favored in this game. This is the biggest line that I've seen for the Cowboys personally. This is also the lowest over/under that I've seen in this game as well. Bottom line, I was not a believer in Oklahoma State in the beginning of the year. I'm not going to lie. They got really lucky real early, but as the season went along, this defense is nasty. This is one of the nastiest defenses, and it's actually in the pack in the Big 12. We would have thought it would have been Oklahoma. No, it's Oklahoma State. I mean, they're almost right there with Georgia. I mean, this defense is awesome. They're second in the sack rate in the entire country on defense, and Oklahoma defending the sack rate is 95th offensively against the sack. So they get sacked a good amount, and then they're going to take advantage of that. There's going to be a lot of sack lunches in this game, Russ, and the Cowboys will be eating.
Yeah, this definitely seems like a good game to pick here. The Sooners, they're a mess with the QB situation. I don't know what they're doing, and I don't even know if the Sooners really care anymore since I don't know if they win this, if they're in the playoff or not. I feel like if they still win, they would still be outside of it. So I don't think this game.
So if Oklahoma does win this game and then wins the Big 12, there's a very, very slight chance, but they're pretty much out of it for the most part. What I'm looking at here is Oklahoma also is ranked 103rd. Well, that's what I talked about before. So there was another thing that I saw as well. Oklahoma's best stats: offensive drive efficiency, offensive points per drive. They're 7th in the country in that. They're 11th with the offensive drive efficiency. It still gets countered by Oklahoma State's defense. Even their best stats that they possibly have, Oklahoma State still ranks better than them in both sides there. So I also like the under 51.5 as well. You're also getting more experienced QB in Spencer Sanders for Oklahoma State. And we talk about Caleb Williams. He's a freshman that's played half the season on top of that. And there was one more thing I wanted to see as well. So
your lines are steaming over here. I've been looking at Oklahoma State's moving up to 4.5 and over-unders dropping to 49.5. So you need to get these bad boys in early.
Yeah, absolutely. If they're dropping like this, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, we do this show late Wednesday night, guys. So some of these lines just start moving because we're getting halfway into the week. So definitely try to get you guys these lines as quick as possible.
Yeah, if we like a game like this and there's some action there moving, some sharp action, it sounds like. Maybe it's my bet that came in, but we'll see what that is over here. But
yeah, we gotta wait till tomorrow. Everyone's not staying up too late tonight.
No, I know. We were kind of late tonight. I apologize for that. Things happen. But hey, the info's out there, guys. So take advantage of it. Finally, we're gonna go to the Big Ten country. This is our last game for tonight. Wisconsin at Minnesota. Minnesota's getting 7 here, Russ. Who are you liking?
I'm liking Minnesota here plus the 7. So this is a rivalry game. We got Minnesota. They want that axe back as they lost last year. I checked out Wisconsin's road games as they're 3-0. They were facing Rutgers, Illinois, Purdue, which are pretty easy matchups for the Wisconsin offense, not facing any real tough defenses. So now they're facing Minnesota, who's the 5th in defensive yards allowed, and they only give up 3.5 yards per rushing attempt. So Minnesota can play some defense. So this will definitely be a tough test, probably the toughest test for Wisconsin. The second to toughest test was probably Purdue for Wisconsin this year. And in that game, the game was tied at halftime. Purdue just had 3 interceptions in that game, so they pretty much gave Wisconsin points. As long as Minnesota plays a clean game, doesn't give away any stupid turnovers, this over-under set at 39. This game's going to be low scoring, ugly. I can see whoever wins this is going to win by a field goal. I'll take Minnesota here plus the 7.
Yeah, I mean, Wisconsin's offense has not been that good. They run the ball 1,000 times, like typical Wisconsin style. I think it was Mertz, the quarterback. He's been absolutely terrible. He was like their highest recruited QB that Wisconsin's ever had in their entire program. He stunk.
That game against Purdue, he had 58 passing yards on the road. So that's what I'm saying. The rushing just did so well. So if Mertz ain't doing anything and they're facing Minnesota, who actually stopped the run, Wisconsin's definitely in trouble. To be undefeated on the road, this just seems like such a tough game, and it's the rivalry game. I just feel like this is such an ugly 13-10 type of game, Chris, right?
Yeah, no, it is. And I think the Golden Gophers are live dogs here as well, honestly. This is one of the games I had circled in my revenge tour game.
Right? You actually like this game too, right?
Yeah, I do like this game. This was one of my highlighted games that I wasn't able to get into, but I do like this game a lot. The Gophers are 6-1 against the spread in their last 8 games as an underdog, and they're also 5-1 against the spread in 6 home games versus a team with a winning record. And they've been really good in conference play. Also 8-2-1 against the spread in their last 11 conference games. This is a great spot for the Gophers. And on top of that, you're getting 65, 67% of money on the Badgers. This is fantastic. I love when I love a game and they aren't getting bet at all.
Yeah, I feel like Minnesota, they've actually just been solid all year. The thing is, they've lost to like some terrible teams, but when it's come to the actual, I think it was some out of conference games, they lost some really like a -20 spread. But when it comes down to the actual conference, I feel like they played, yeah, that's the game I wanted to look at. Iowa. I remember they played Iowa close, and then they ended up just losing by 5 points or whatever. So they're taking care of business this year. Like these guys, when they come out, when they want to play, they come out to play.
Absolutely. And we got a question from Andrew again. Russ, I want to get your thoughts on this as well. Penn State, Michigan State. What are you thinking with this game? This is kind of a tough game here.
One of these things. Yeah. Usually I gotta like look at the line, see what the line's supposed to be. So what do we got? Penn State's -1.
Penn State's -1. The over-under's at 52.
Michigan State. Oh man. Yeah, this is a Michigan State type of game, I would say. Home dog. They just got smashed to Ohio State last week. Penn State, I actually see this line is actually lower than it should be. It should actually be about 3 or 4, and it's only at -1. I would take Michigan State. This might be something he might be talking me into here. See, I like that when sometimes people send a message, because I'm looking through hundreds of games here. When you got college football, there's a ton of games, Chris, to look into. So
no, definitely.
Definitely.
I would personally lean with the under on this game. I think it's gonna be a hard fought game. I'm actually kind of leaning more towards Penn State this game, and the reason why I'm saying this is Michigan State finally got exposed in the pass game that no one was even looking at all year. Right now, they're ranked 130th in the entire country in passing yards against. So, I mean, they can't stop anybody from throwing, and Clifford should be able to throw well against them. I don't know. This might just be the end for Michigan State. It was a good run while it lasted. They'll be in a nice little bowl game, but I think Penn State might sneak this one out over here. But this is pretty much a stay away from me. But Russ likes Michigan State here. I like Penn State here. I actually like the under more here, but that's where I'm staying with that.
Penn State just has fallen off the map. They're 2-4 their last 6. They were supposed to have such a good season. They just lost all these close games. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but that'll do it for us today, guys. You can find me at Chris Ebom on Twitter, on TikTok, Ebom Sports Bets. That's Russ Reese. That's the Vegas line reader. You can find him on Twitter, all that good stuff. And I'm excited about this week for, we got games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We got like 4 days in a row of games, Russ. I can't wait.
Definitely, yeah, very excited. And guys, I'm on fire right now. I just hit another winner in basketball again tonight. That's 27-7, my last 34. I'm absolutely on fire. I actually have a college play that I didn't give out today that I love for tomorrow. So make sure you just check out my website, vegaslinereader.com, and be sure to contact me as I'm on red hot. Check out Chris, contact him for any questions, contact me. Guys, we'd be happy to answer questions. If you didn't catch us on the live chat today, come check us out and come contact us.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go tackle that board, Russ.
Let's go.